Model Making Guru is sponsored by emodels.co.uk. Make something awesome. Hey everyone, it's Fox from modelmaking.guru here. Hello and welcome to a very quick video build diary update. Now, if you remember, at the moment I am knee deep in the middle of working on my master grade Sazabi, the car, the Shanghai Dragons, the Borderlands. It's a build for my very dear friend and patron George. This is being built for him because he loves him some Sazabi, he loves him some Shanghai Dragons, and Borderlands. I just kind of pulled that out my ass because it looks quite cool, so we kind of agreed on that. So this is going to be a Sazabi built in the colour scheme, in the livery of Shanghai Dragons. It's a bit supposedly to look like Diva's mech. It's going to be not a 30-metre tall mobile suit, but really a 25-foot tall big mech, and we have a figure to go with it as well to keep it in scale. So it's going to be painted in the livery of Shanghai Dragons, but then also painted in the style of Borderlands 2, so that ink and watercolour outline. Now, this is a Patreon exclusive build series. The actual main episodes of this are for patrons only, so if you want to watch those and see how I got to this stage, you do need to become a patron and support me on there. So go to patreon.com/modelmakingguru. I'll put the link down here. A little bit of a plug there for myself. You do need to be a patron, but I did promise you a little bit of an update video for non-patrons just to give you a quick look. So this is where we're up to at the moment, a couple of episodes in, I think a couple of 3 episodes. So far we've got not all, but most of the base colours down on all the parts. We've got the reds and the yellows in there, we've got all the greys and bits and bobs, and it's all, well, there's been 2 different steps really. There's been a use of the Citadel contrast colours to get some of the inner frame details. So you might see, for example, on here we have some inner frame details that are painted with the contrast colours, not painted with metallics. Remember, it's a Borderlands colour scheme. If you go and look at vehicles or weapons or anything in Borderlands 2, it's not, there's no shiny metallics in there. There are in Borderlands 3, but not in Borderlands 2. All the metallic things are just different shades of grey, and it has that kind of watercolour and ink feel. So the contrast paints work really well for that effect. We've also got the reds and the yellows down, and that is a little bit of rattle can, a little bit of airbrush, and a lot of dry brushing. We can do some post shading. I did do some live streams and I showed you the process a little bit, so if you watch those, go and watch those. But we've done a lot of that, and that's where we're up to right now. We've got most of the armour, I think all the armour painted, base coated. We've still got some bits. Hello, you can come back, you can just stand there, you can just stand up like a good lad. There you go. We've got some bits yet not painted, like the top of the pod here. That's just still basics, it's just raw colour. There's nothing, no work been done on here yet, because that's going to have a very specific design on it. We have, the pods have been painted. Now, I did somehow pick up a texture in the yellow paint when I was doing the dry brushing, not in the red paints. They came out perfectly baby butt smooth, but the yellow paints have this weird kind of texture to them, almost like a grain, a very sort of delicate leather texture to them. I suspect it's to do with the specific paints, because I didn't get this on the reds, and I used the same brushes and the same techniques on the reds. I did reds with 2 colours, whereas the yellows involve 3 colours, but I was getting this right at the start of the dry brushing process anyway, so I suspect it's to do with the Avalanche Sunset and the Uriel Yellow, which are the 2 of the colours I used where that texture was coming in. So I've learned a lesson there, but it's kind of cool. It's a cool, interesting texture, and it makes the red a bit different from the yellow. So you've got this nice sort of watercolory effect. Now, that's the delicate thing that I've been trying to create, enhanced by the contrast paints, which give it an even more watercolory effect. Now, it looks patchy as hell right now, and I've said to people in the proper video, if you're watching and you're following along, don't worry if at this point everything looks like rough as dogs, because that's the idea. We've got the inking to come, we've got chipping to come, we've got lots more steps to come, and it will blend it all together. So there's tons more to do. We have also assembled the frame, the inner frame. You can see, I know it's a really bad angle and it's probably hard to see, but the lower half of the inner frame, the legs and the ankles, that has been assembled. This is going to be a fixed pose build. So for example, the knees are glued, the ankles are glued, the hips are glued, but they still move. I don't think the polycaps really took. I don't think the glue got into the polycap enough, so they are a bit wibbly wobbly. You can still force them. So George, when you get this, just be really careful. Don't move the hips. Just don't move the hips. The arms at the elbow are glued. This is all locked in place, so that's not going anywhere. And everything is built with all the armour open. I've got a very specific plan for the base. It's mounted onto this base here, this piece of plastic card. Now I've got a very specific plan for this. It's going to be given a sort of workshop look. Very, very simple. I'm not going to go complicated. It'll be a very, very simple diorama, but it's going to look like we've got this chap, who's a bit sleepy. He likes to have a bit of a sleep. He's going to be mounted onto the board. He's going to be working on the mech. So we're going to have a couple of bits lying around. And I'm going to paint this chap in the team colours of the Shanghai Dragons, but as if to make out like he's in, you know, he's one of the team members and he's got the jumpsuit on in the Shanghai Dragons colours. So I've got a few photographs of like Shanghai Dragons outfits to base that on. It's going to be kind of cool. But this is where we're up to now. So we've basically got all the armour painted, lots of sub-assemblies. We've got arms built. We've got some bits of armour with the stuff inside on there. We've got, I say, everything's glued together. It's going to be a fixed pose. There's still lots of bits that aren't here. They're in my sorting trays. It is like herding cats right at the moment, just trying to keep track of everything, but we'll get in there slowly. So it is coming along nicely. I will do another one of these very, very quick little catch-up videos just so you can get a feel for where we're up to. But so far, base colours on, frames built, most of the sub-assemblies done. The next steps are chipping. We've got decals, we've got lots of detail painting, various bits and bobs. Then we have to obviously paint the figure and the diorama setting and everything else. There's loads and loads and loads to do. Yeah, got tons and tons to do. Now for non-patrons, like I said, this is a Patreon exclusive series, so you're not going to see any proper in-depth painting videos on this unless you're a patron. But I will have, for example, the decals to do. And like I've done with the dry brushing a little bit, I'll probably do a live stream of that just so non-patrons have something to watch, and also because doing decals requires no brain power, and I'll be grateful of the company while I'm doing it if you guys are on a live stream with me. So I'll probably do some live streams in the coming weeks when I'm doing the decals, but there are some things I can't do that for because I've got to be thinking, like chipping. I want to pay attention when I'm doing the chipping. I don't really want to be, you know, doing a live stream while I'm doing chipping, because I need to be careful on this one. I don't want to mess it up because it's for George and it needs to look fantabulous. Anyway, that's going to do us. So thank you very much for watching. Like I say, do pop along to my Patreon page if you want to access this build series and just help support this channel. I live on the income from my patrons. I love them dearly. So if you'd like to help out this channel and keep it going, do consider becoming a patron. Patreon.com/model making guru. As always, big shout outs to my channel sponsors and providers. We have obviously all my patrons, and of course emodels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs, and Goblin Gaming, again your one-stop shop for all your tabletop gaming and model making needs. Links to both in the description below the video. Do keep in mind the link for Goblin Games. Not only do you get 20% off Games Workshop, Malifaux and Conflict 47, I get a little bit of income if you use the link that's in the description below the video. So use that, don't just go to their website. But that's going to do us. So thank you again. Take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome like this. God, there's so many parts. Got so much painting to do. Go make something awesome. Go be awesome like this. So much painting to do. And until next time, I'll say adios amoebas. So much painting to do. So much still.